You stand in the front hall of your house near Tavistock Square, one hand resting on the doorframe. The wood is cool under your palm, smooth from years of touch. Upstairs, the house sleeps. Catherine's breathing steady behind a closed door. The children, their small forms curled beneath blankets in rooms you know by heart, but sleep will not come for you tonight. It has not come for 3 hours now. You have lain in the dark, turned, risen, lain again. The sheets twisted beneath you, and now there is only one thing left to do. You reach for your coat where it hangs on the peg. Heavy wool, the weight of it familiar as you lift it down. You slide your arms through the sleeves, feel the fabric settle across your shoulders. The collar brushes the back of your neck. Your hands find the buttons brass, cold against your fingertips. You fasten them one by one, slowly, methodically. The motion steadies something in you. You bend to your boots, leather stiff and dark. You work the laces through the eyelets, pull them tight. The pressure mounts across the arch of each foot. The leather creaks softly. You tie them. Double knots. Your fingers move without thought. Habits worn smooth by repetition. On the hall table your hat waits. Black felt. You place it on your head. Adjust the brim. Your hand moves to the door handle. Brass again. Cold and solid. You curl your fingers around it. Feel its weight. The mechanism turns with a soft click that sounds loud in the stillness. The latch releases. You pull the door open. The night air touches your face. October cold, damp from earlier rain. It moves against your skin like something alive. London waits beyond the threshold. 4 million souls sleeping in their beds while you who should be among them, stand here instead, choosing the streets over rest, the walking over the lying still. You step across. Your boot heel meets the stone outside. The door closes behind you with a whisper of wood on wood, and the night receives you. The city spreads before you in shadow and gaslight, empty, immense, and you begin to walk. The cold finds you first. October air moving against your face, sharp and clean after the stillness of the house. You breathe it in, feel it fill your lungs, taste the char of coal smoke that drifts down from chimneys. 1,000 fires burning in the night, their ash settling invisible on every surface. The pavement is still damp beneath your boots. Earlier rain has left the stones dark and slick. Your first step rings clear in the silence, then the second, then the third, and somewhere in that third step your stride finds its rhythm, the pace that belongs to these walks. Not hurried, not slow, steady as a heartbeat. Your mind begins to shift, the tightness in your chest loosening with each footfall, the restlessness that drove you from your bed starting to disperse like smoke. You feel it happen. The way your thoughts stop their circling and begin to move forward, following the line of the street. The smell of the city rises around you, wet stone first, granite and Portland limestone drinking the night air, then horse dung softened by water, sweet and earthy where it lies in the gutter. The iron railings that front the houses carry a metallic edge, cold metal and rain. You catch it as you pass, then soot again, always soot. The black dust of London settling on your shoulders, on the brim of your hat, on the wool of your coat. Your boots find the rhythm of the cobblestones, the slight unevenness of the paving, each stone set by hand decades ago, worn smooth by wheels and hooves and the feet of how many thousands. The leather of your soles knows this texture, the small adjustments your ankles make, the shift of weight from heel to toe. The street is yours. No one else walks here. The houses on either side stand dark, their windows blind. Behind those windows people sleep. Families curled in their beds, servants in their attic rooms, the city breathing slow and deep. But you move through it, a single figure under the vast October sky. Your shadow stretching long beneath the nearest lamp, then shortening, then gone as you pass beyond its circle of light. The rhythm holds, your stride, your breath, the city accepting you into its emptiness, and something in your chest, the thing that would not let you rest, begins finally, slowly, to quiet. The first lamp ahead throws its yellow circle onto the wet stones. You see it from a distance, a small sun burning behind frosted glass, hissing softly as gas feeds the flame. You walk toward it and the light grows, spreads across the pavement, catches in the thin film of water that still clings to the cobbles. The pool of brightness widens as you approach. You see the grain of the stone now, the small channels where rainwater has carved paths over years, the glint of quartz embedded in granite, everything made visible in that circumference of light. Then you step into it, the warmth reaching you for just a moment. 3 steps, 4, and you are through. Back into darkness, your eyes adjusting again. The lamp recedes behind you, its glow fading. You watch your shadow stretch forward, long and thin across the stones, reaching toward the next lamp, the next pool of light. It moves with you, a dark companion painted by gas flame onto wet pavement. The second lamp appears. You see your shadow begin to shrink, pulling back toward your boots as the light source shifts, the geometry changing. Then it vanishes entirely, erased. You stand in the bright circle and there is no shadow at all, only the sound of water dripping somewhere, the hiss of gas, the distant bark of a dog, 3 streets away perhaps, then darkness again. And your shadow reappears, cast forward now by the lamp behind you. The lamps mark your progress. You count them without counting, each one a station, a point, fixed in the night. You move from light to light, like a sentence punctuated, the rhythm of your walking measured by their intervals. 40 paces between lamps here in Bloomsbury, 35 along Russell Square. The distances varying, but always regular, always known. The frosted glass softens the flame. You can look directly at it without pain. See the mantle glowing white inside, the brass fixture that holds it, the iron post anchored in stone, each lamp identical, planted along these streets by the gas company, feeding from pipes that run beneath the cobbles. London burning its coal underground, converting it to light. The water on the stones catches every lamp, multiplies it. You see 2 lights now, where there is one, the real flame above, its twin shimmering below in the wet surface, both hissing their small hiss, both throwing yellow across the dark. When you pass between the circles, between one lamp and the next, there is a moment of pure darkness, a breath of night unmarked by gas. You feel the city as it was before the lamps, black and vast, your pupils widening to catch what little light the sky allows. Then the next pool appears, and you step into it. your boots ringing on stone, the leather dark with rain, the hem of your coat swinging. You could walk this route blind, the distance between lamps written in your muscles, in the count of your steps, 40 paces. Darkness, light, darkness, light, the pattern holding all the way south, all the way to the river. The lamps will lead you there. You turn east, and the iron arcade of Covent Garden opens before you, the great market hall empty now, its roof a lattice of shadow and faint light from the distant street. Your boots change their sound against the flagstones, a harder ring, sharper, echoing up into the vaulted space above. The iron beams catch the echo and return it, multiply it, so that each step becomes 3 steps, 4, a conversation between your feet and the architecture. You walk slowly, listening to yourself arrive and arrive again, in the dark. The smell reaches you first, old vegetables, earth, rot, the sweet decay of crushed fruit left too long. Cabbage leaves lie scattered across the stones, dark and wilted, their edges curled. You see them in the faint light that seeps in from the gas lamps outside, thin shapes on wet stone. A crate has been overturned near one of the iron columns, spilling straw across the pavement, pale stalks scattered like dropped matches. Your boot catches one and it makes no sound, just the soft give of something dried and hollow. You pass under the centre of the arcade, where the darkness is deepest, where no light from the street can reach, and your eyes adjust to almost nothing, the faint gleam of wet flagstone, the suggestion of iron overhead, the geometry of the market's bones. You hear something move, a kick skitter to your left, claws on stone, then silence. You stop walking, and the echoes stop with you 1 beat later, 2. The rat passes through a thin shaft of light 10 feet away, low to the ground, moving fast along the base of a stall, its tail a dark line behind it, then gone, back into the spaces between the wood. You stand still, listening. The market creaks somewhere above you, iron contracting in the October cold, a sound like a ship settling. The far end of the arcade shows a rectangle of lesser darkness, the opening to Southampton Street. You can see the edge of a gas lamp there, its glow not reaching this far, just the suggestion that light exists, that the city continues beyond this emptiness. Your breath mists in front of you, hangs in the cold air, dissipates. The flagstones under your boots are uneven, worn smooth by years of carts and crowds. You feel the slight dip where water is pooled, the raised edge where stone meets stone. A broken basket lies on its side near the southern colonnade, its ribs splayed, one handle torn free. It looked like something ribcage, something that once held shape. You walk toward it, your steps loud again, echoing, the market amplifying your solitude, making it audible. No one is buying, no one is selling. The stalls are empty skeletons of wood, their canvas coverings rolled and tied. You are the only witness to what this place becomes when commerce sleeps, when the shouts and the bargaining and the crush of bodies withdraws, leaving only debris, only the aftermath of transaction. A cabbage leaf adheres to your boot. You feel its cold weight, shake it free. It falls without sound onto the wet stone. Behind you the arcade darkens. Ahead the rectangle of Southampton Street waits. You hear a horse, distant, the slow clop of hooves on cobbles, streets away, maybe 2, maybe 3, the sound carrying through the cold air, finding you here in the empty market, then fading. The iron roof holds the smell of rot, holds the echo of your walking, holds the space where 4 hours ago 1,000 people stood. Now there is only you, moving through the shell of commerce, through what the market leaves behind. You step toward the light at the far end, toward Southampton Street and the lamps beyond, the darkness of the arcade releasing you, your boots ringing, ringing, ringing on stone. You turn onto the Strand and the shop fronts rise on either side like blank pages, shuttered with painted wood, each one sealed against the night, green paint on one, dark blue on another, the colours barely visible under the gas lamps, just suggestions of hue in the amber light. The windows above the shops are dark, rectangles of blackness, except for one 3 stories up, where a single candle burns behind curtains, a small orange glow, steady, unmoving. Someone awake like you, reading perhaps, or writing, or simply unable to sleep. The pavement is wider here than in the market, broader. Your boots strike it with a different sound, a flatter knock, less echo. The stones fit more tightly, laid with care for the traffic that passes by day. You feel your breath moving in and out, steady, even, the rhythm established now after an hour of walking, maybe more. Your chest rises and falls without thought, the cold air entering, warming inside you, leaving as mist. Each inhalation reaches deeper, fills you more completely. The walking has opened your lungs, made space where before there was tightness. Your heartbeat drums low in your chest, not fast, not laboured, just present, a steady pulse that matches your stride, left foot, beat, right foot, beat, the 2 rhythms locking together, becoming one thing. You feel it in your throat, in your wrists if you pay attention, the blood moving through you, reliable, tireless. A pleasant ache begins in your calves, the muscles protesting gently, not pain. Not yet, just the acknowledgement of work being done, of distance covered, your left calf more than your right. You notice this, have noticed it before on these walks, some old injury perhaps, some imbalance in how you carry yourself. The ache spreads upward into the backs of your thighs, a warmth that is almost satisfaction, the body saying yes. This is what we do. This is what we are built for. Inside your coat, the heat is building, trapped against your chest, your back. You can feel the weight of the fabric now, the wool heavy with the warmth you have generated. It presses against your shoulders, against your upper arms, a pleasant pressure. You are warmer than the night around you, warmer than the shuttered shops, than the dark windows, than the sleeping city. Your collar touches your neck, and you feel the dampness there. Not quite sweat, just heat meeting cold air meeting skin. A gas lamp hisses as you pass, the sound sharp in the quiet, the flame steady behind its glass. You can feel the faint warmth of it just for a moment. Then it is behind you, and the cold returns to your left side. The ache in your legs deepens, spreads, becomes part of the rhythm, part of the walking itself, not separate, not resisting, just there, measuring the miles in muscle. Your breathing never changes. In, out, in, out. The machinery of your body doing what it knows, what it has learned on 100 walks like this. The restlessness that drove you from your bed. that tight spring wound in your chest, is loosening, unwinding, converting itself into this, into motion, into steady breath and steady heartbeat, and the reliable ache of legs that will carry you until dawn. The Strand stretches ahead, more shuttered fronts, more dark windows, the candle still burning behind you now. 3 stories up in a room you will never see. You walk, your body a mechanism governed by pace, by rhythm, by the physical fact of movement. The sentences that circled in your head when you left Tavistock Square have gone quiet. Or perhaps they are still there, but you cannot hear them over the sound of your boots, over the drum of your heart, over the breath moving through you like tide. Simple, mechanical, yours. The street narrows and the wall begins. Newgate, rising to your right like a cliff face carved from coal. The stone is black, not the black of night, but something older, deeper, the black of soot and centuries and rain that has carried London's smoke into every crack. You slow without deciding to, your stride shortening, your boots striking softer now against the cobbles. The wall climbs higher than the buildings around it, 3 stories, 4. The top lost in darkness where no lamp reaches. It has no windows, none you can see, just stone rising sheer from the pavement with nothing to interrupt its surface. No ledge, no ornament, nothing. The texture pulls at your eyes, pitted, scarred, as though something has eaten into it from within. You can see where the rain has run down in streaks, darker lines on dark stone, trails that lead nowhere. The mortar between the stones is recessed, worn back, each block standing slightly proud of its neighbour, casting shadows even in this dim light. The gas lamp behind you throws your shadow forward, long, stretched, climbing part way up the wall before it fades, swallowed by the stone. The wall does not reflect, does not shine. It drinks the lamplight and gives nothing back. You have written about this place, described it, put men inside it in sentences that readers consumed with their breakfast, described the yard where they hang them, the chaplain's voice, the crowd that gathers. But now you are just a body, walking past stone, your legs still aching from the Strand, your breath still steady, and the wall is simply there, indifferent to what you have written, indifferent to you. An iron ring is bolted into the stone at shoulder height, thick as your wrist, rusted, the bolt heads the size of shillings. You do not want to think what it was for, what was chained there, who. The ring hangs at an angle, pulled by gravity or by whatever strained against it. You look away, keep walking, but slower now. The silence here is different from the silence of the Strand, heavier, as though sound itself is afraid to travel too far from its source. Your boots still strike the cobbles, the sound still reaches your ears, but it seems smaller, muffled, absorbed by the stone before it can echo. Behind this wall, you know this, men are sleeping, or not sleeping, lying on boards in cells too small to pace, breathing the same air they breathed yesterday, will breathe tomorrow. Some you know by name from the trials you attended, the cases you followed. Some are only numbers in the prison register, quantities, abstractions. But tonight they are bodies like yours, hearts beating, lungs filling, the same mechanism, the same needs, only the walls are different. You feel your own breath moving, still steady, still even, the cold air entering freely. No stone to stop it, no bars. You feel the weight of your coat, the wool against your shoulders, a weight you can shrug off whenever you choose. The ache in your legs is pleasant, earned. The ache of a man who walks because he wants to, not because the space allows only 3 paces before the wall. Your shadow stretches ahead of you, then begins to shorten as you approach another lamp, then falls beside you, then stretches behind. The geometry of light and stone. You do not turn to look back at the wall, do not need to. It is there, will be there tomorrow night, next year, after you're gone. The street widens slightly where the prison ends, not much, just enough that you feel the space open around you, the air move differently. You breathe deeper, without thinking, your stride lengthening again, finding its rhythm. The wall recedes behind you, stone becoming memory, becoming something you might write about someday, or might not. Ahead the street curves toward the river, toward the smell of water and mud, and the creaking of boats at anchor. You walk toward it, a man among the sleeping city, choosing your path, choosing your pace, free. The bridge rises under your feet, gradual, the stone sloping upward in a curve you feel in your calves, in the shift of weight from heel to toe. Your boots sound different here, sharper, the echo bouncing off nothing but air and water, no buildings close enough to catch it. The parapet comes to your waist, thick Portland stone, cold when you rest your hand on it, the surface slightly damp though the rain stopped hours ago. Moisture pulled from the river itself, hanging in the air, settling on everything. You stop at the centre, or near enough, where the arch beneath you is highest, where the Thames runs deepest in its channel. The city opens around you in the dark, wider here than any street, the river a black ribbon cutting through stone and smoke. You can see the next bridge downriver, Southwark, its lamps strung like dim beads across the water, and beyond that, nothing, just darkness where the Thames bends east toward the sea. The water moves below you without sound, or almost without sound, a whisper so low you have to stand still to hear it, a susurration, the voice of current against stone, against the pilings that hold the bridge, against the keels of barges moored in rows along both banks. You lean forward slightly, looking down. The surface is black, not the clean black of ink, but something thicker, oily, catching the lamplight in streaks that slide and merge and break apart. The reflections of the bridge lamps shiver on the water, long wobbly lines of gold that stretch toward the far bank and dissolve. A barge rocks at its mooring somewhere to your left. You cannot see it, but you hear the creak of rope taking the weight, releasing, taking it again, the rhythm irregular, patient, like breathing. Like the breathing of something large and slow that has been breathing since before London was London, since before there were bridges, when this was just a ford between marshes. The smell rises from below, thick, organic, mud and coal dust and rot and salt carried up from the estuary, the smell of a living river, not clean, but alive. You feel the stone under your hands, solid, unmoving, and beneath it the water sliding past, tons of it, moving, always moving toward Gravesend and the sea. The bridge is fixed, rooted in bedrock, its arches planted in the riverbed like the roots of something that cannot be moved, but the water does not care. It flows around the stone, under it, wearing it down, grain by grain, patient, indifferent. A hull knocks against a pier somewhere in the darkness, wood on stone, a hollow sound, once, twice, then silence, then the creak of rope again. You have been walking for hours, your legs know it, and the ache deeper now, settling into the bones. But standing here, you feel the stillness move through you. You're not walking, not moving, and the city flows past instead. The river carrying it, 4 million people breathing in their beds, and the Thames sliding beneath them all, constant, indifferent to their dreams. A cat appears at the far end of the bridge, just a shadow moving along the parapet, pausing, tail flicking once, then gone. A watchman's call reaches you from somewhere south of the river, distant, formless, just sound travelling across water. You push back from the stone, your hands lifting, the cold leaving them slowly. The ache in your legs shifts as you straighten. Familiar now, almost welcome, the weight of miles. You turn east, down river, where the embankment curves along the water, where the lamps continue. Your boots strike the stone again, the rhythm returning. The bridge slopes down toward the far bank. Gradual, your stride lengthening. The sound of the river fades behind you, or you fade from it, moving away from the centre, back towards streets, towards stone that does not move. You leave the Thames to its ancient work, sliding, patient, wearing London down. You descend from the bridge and the embankment opens along your right, a narrow margin between stone wall and water, where the city ends and the river begins its work. The lamps here are farther apart, their light pooling on wet stone and leaving gaps of darkness between. Your boots find cobblestones again, uneven, some cracked, some missing entirely where the river has taken them. The smell changes as you walk, stronger now, rising from the mud exposed by the falling tide, thick, organic, the reek of silt and rot and things the Thames has swallowed and half digested. It is not a clean smell, not the smell of rain or of wind off the sea, but something older, earthier, the smell of a river that carries a city's waste toward the estuary, coal dust and night soil and the vegetable stink of water stewing between wood and stone. You breathe it. There is no avoiding it. The air itself tastes of the river here, metallic, slightly sweet. You walk slowly, your eyes adjusting to the dimness between lamps. The embankment wall rises to your left, rough stone mortared with lime, slick with moisture where the tide climbed highest. To your right, the slope falls away, a bank of mud and shingle littered with what the water has left behind. You see the shapes of things as you pass, rope ends coiled in the silt like dead eels, timber planks half buried at angles, a rusted chain pooled in a heap where someone dropped it or where the current carried it and let it rest. A child's wooden hoop leans against a stone, half its rim sunk into mud, the wood swollen and dark. You do not stop, but you see it, the way you see everything when you walk, cataloguing, storing. A barge creaks somewhere ahead, moored along the embankment, its hull invisible but its presence felt. The displacement of water, the groan of rope under strain. The tar smell reaches you before you reach the barge, thick, resinous, the smell of pitch used to seal planks against the river's intrusion. It mixes with the mud stink, with the vegetable rot of weeds clinging to the stones below the waterline. The city is a body. You have always known this, but walking here, you feel it differently. The Thames is its bloodstream, carrying what it needs and what it discards, never stopping, never clean. The debris along the bank is not trash, not quite. It is what the body sheds, what accumulates in the margins, proof that nothing in London is still, even now, even when 4 million people sleep behind their windows and shutters. The river does its work in darkness, rising and falling with the tide, pulling things down and spitting them back, patient, indifferent. Your boots sound hollow on the stones, echoing off the embankment wall, off the water. The ache in your legs has settled into something steady, a thrumming just below the surface. You do not fight it, you walk through it. The lamplight ahead marks the next mooring, the next stretch of stone. You pass a dead gull folded against the wall, its feathers slick with river water, its eye open, staring at nothing. You do not look away. A timber beam juts from the mud like a broken bone, blackened, worn smooth by years of tide. You keep walking, east, always east. The smell follows you, or you carry it with you now, the smell of the river at low tide, the smell of London's underside, what the daylight does not show. A watchman's brazier glows somewhere ahead, a point of warmth in the cold. You walk toward it, your shadow stretching long behind you, then shortening, then swallowed by the dark between lamps. You turn into a narrow passage where the smell of fish rises from the stones even now, hours after the market has closed. The salt and rot of the river caught in the cracks between cobbles, and ahead, at the mouth of the lane, a small fire burns in a basket of iron, orange light, trembling against the dark. A watchman stands beside it, his coat pulled close, one hand extended toward the flame. His breath comes in small clouds that catch the glow and vanish. You walk toward him. The cold has worked its way through your coat, settled in your shoulders, made your fingers stiff inside your gloves. Despite the walking, the warmth reaches you before you reach the fire. Faint at first, then stronger. A pocket of air that pushes back against the October night. You pass close enough to feel it on your face, one side warm, the other still cold. The contrast so sharp it almost stings. Your cheeks, your forehead, the tip of your nose, all suddenly aware of themselves. The watchman looks up, his face lit from below so the shadows pool in strange places under his brow, beneath his chin. He is older than you first thought, or perhaps younger. The light makes it hard to tell. He nods, a small movement, barely there. You nod in return, no words, nothing needed, just the acknowledgement of two men awake when the rest of the city sleeps behind its shuttered windows. You keep walking. The warmth fades as quickly as it came, 2 steps, 3, and you are back in the cold, your face cooling again, the night air pressing in where the fire had pushed it away. But something lingers. Not the warmth itself, but the memory of it, the knowing that it was there. Your hands in your gloves feel stiffer now than they did before. The contrast makes them ache, faintly. You flex your fingers, feel the leather creak slightly, the seams tight across your knuckles. You glance back once. The watchman has not moved, still standing beside his small fire, his hand still out toward the flame. The orange light a single point in all the dark streets. Then you turn the corner, and it is gone. The lane opens into a wider street. The gas lamps march away into the distance, each one a small hiss of light. Your boots find their rhythm again on the stones. Left, right, left, right, the sound echoing off the buildings on either side. You think of all the watchmen in London tonight, each one standing beside their fire. Small points of warmth scattered through the sleeping city. And you think of yourself walking between them, moving through the cold, passing from one pool of light to the next, never stopping, never still. You breathe out and watch your breath join the night air. Then you walk on. You turn north again, away from the river. The street narrows as you climb the slight rise. The buildings lean in, their upper stories closer together than their foundations, timbers jutting out so the gap of sky above becomes a ribbon. The lamps are fewer here. Their light does not reach as far. The spaces between them filled with a darkness that feels thicker, more present, something you could almost touch. Your boots find the cobblestones without you needing to look. They have been finding cobblestones for hours now. Your legs know the rhythm, the slight unevenness, the way each stone sits a little different from its neighbour, some higher, some lower, some tilted, just enough to catch your heel if you weren't paying attention. But you are always paying attention, even when you are not. Your weight shifts from one foot to the other in a pattern so familiar it has stopped being something you do and becomes something you are. The pivot at the ankle as you push off, the brief moment when all your weight rests on the ball of one foot, the swing forward of the other leg, knee loose, foot landing heel first, then rolling through to the toe, over and over. You feel the slight pull in your right hip, where it always pulls after the first hour, the tightness in your left calf that comes and goes, these small complaints that your body makes and then forgets to make. They are part of the walking now, not separate from it. You turn a corner and the street bends left, following some old boundary or vanished stream. Your body leans into the turn without you thinking about it, the weight shifting to the outside foot, the inside foot lighter, the balance adjusting in tiny ways you could never describe, but your muscles know. You pass a doorway, set back from the street, 3 steps leading down to it. Your eyes register the drop. Your path widens slightly to avoid it, your body already correcting before your mind names what it has seen. The air is colder here, away from the river. It sits heavier in the narrow street, pooling between the buildings. You breathe it in and feel it go deep, all the way down. Your chest expands, your ribs spread, the cold works its way through your coat and shirt to touch your skin. Then you breathe out and keep walking. Your arms swing at your sides, hands still in your gloves, fingers still stiff, but moving now with the motion, forward, back, the opposite arm from each leg. A rhythm you were born knowing. The thought you were thinking 2 streets ago is gone, replaced by another, then another, each one forming as your foot strikes the stone, dissolving as the next foot lands. Words without sound, sentences that build and collapse in time with your stride. You are not walking through London anymore. You are the walking itself. The city passes through you, the dark windows and sleeping markets and narrow lanes all flowing past while your legs carry you forward, tireless, automatic, your body moving through space as if it could go on like this forever, as if dawn were not coming. as if there were no house waiting, no bed, no stillness required. Just this, the cobblestones and the cold and the rhythm that needs no thought. Your shadow stretches ahead of you under a lamp, then shrinks, then disappears as you pass between lights, reappears behind you, stretches, fades again. Over and over, you walk on. You see it at the edge of vision, a flicker of movement low to the ground where the lamplight thins, pale against the dark stone. Quick! Your eyes swing toward it, but it is already gone into the gap between two buildings where the walls meet in a crooked seam. Not an alley exactly, too narrow for that, just a space where the structures fail to touch, leaving a vertical slice of deeper black. You stop, your legs remembering to stop a half-second after your eyes command it, one foot slightly forward, weight still shifting. The street is silent except for the small sounds your stillness reveals, the drip of water somewhere, the settling of timber, your own breath. You stare at the gap, trying to will the movement back into existence, trying to make your eyes find what they saw. But there is nothing, just the dark pressing into itself, the shadow on shadow, where brick becomes space becomes brick again. Your mind fills in what might be there, old crates stacked against a wall, the skeleton of a broken cart, things discarded and forgotten, wedged into places too small for people to care about. You take a step toward the gap, then stop again. The cat. You are certain now it was a cat, left no sound behind, no scrape of claw on stone, no rustle of disturbed refuse. It moved through the world without touching it, or touching it so lightly the world did not notice. You have seen them before on these walks, shapes that resolve into cats only at the last moment, crouched on windowsills 4 stories up, slipping through railings, watching from doorways with eyes that catch the gaslight and throw it back in 2 gold points. They live in the margins, in the spaces between human things, existing alongside but never quite within. The gap swallows your gaze. You could stare at it for an hour and see nothing more than you see now. Darkness layered over darkness, the texture of it. You realize you are waiting for what? For the cat to reappear, to prove it was real, to give you something to witness besides your own certainty. But waiting is not walking. And you did not come out here to stand still. Your weight shifts back, your body remembering what it was doing. The street stretches ahead, empty, patient. You let your eyes release the gap, let the shadow space fold back into the general dark of the street. The cat is wherever cats go when they vanish, behind walls, under floors, in places that have no names because no one goes there. You turn forward again. Your right foot lifts, finds the cobblestone ahead. Your weight follows. The rhythm resumes. Footfall, breath, footfall, breath. Already the gap is behind you, the flicker of pale motion, becoming memory, then less than memory, just the faint trace of having seen something move. You walk on, the street narrowing further ahead, more gaps between buildings you will not stop to examine, more small lives lived parallel to yours, unseen, unwitnessed, brief. The city is full of them, creatures that know these streets as well as you do, that walk them by different rules, that appear and disappear as if the walls were doorways and the shadows were passages and the whole vast architecture of London were porous. You are alone again, which is to say, You are never alone, just walking among others who leave no trace, who ask nothing, who vanish before you can focus. The lamplight pools and fades, pools and fades. Your shadow stretches and shrinks. You walk on. Your legs know the weight now, the miles they have carried you, the stone they have stepped on again and again, until the motion is no longer something you think about, but something your body performs, while your mind drifts elsewhere. You feel it in the long muscles of your thighs, not pain exactly, just presence and the dull, warm ache that comes from use, from asking the same thing of flesh over and over, contract, release, hold, push, hours of it, compounding. Each step costs a little more than the one before, but the cost is so small you barely notice the arithmetic, just the slow accumulation, the thickness settling into your calves, the faint burn behind your knees when you straighten. Your back carries its own catalogue, the muscles along your spine gone taut, from holding you upright, from balancing the motion. You have been bent slightly forward this whole time, without realizing it, leaning into the walk. And now, when you try to pull your shoulders back, they resist, remind you they have been doing work you did not acknowledge. You let them return to their lean, accept the curve. The streets are turning familiar, not consciously. You have not been tracking your route or planning your return, but your feet know these corners, recognize the rhythm of lamp to lamp, the width of the pavements. You are curving back, making the long arc toward Bloomsbury, toward Tavistock, drawing the question mark closed, the restlessness that drove you from your bed hours ago, that sent you into your coat and out the door while the household slept, is gone. You cannot remember when it left, somewhere back in the tangle of streets and bridges and silent squares, somewhere between the market and the river. It simply stopped being there, stopped pressing against the inside of your skull, stopped making your hands want to move. You are just walking now. Nothing chasing you, nothing unresolved, just the motion and the miles and the night thinning toward whatever comes after. Your breath is still steady but heavier. You can hear it now in the quiet, the slight roughness at the edges, the way it fills your chest and empties more slowly than it did when you started. Your lungs are tired. They want to be still, want to stop expanding and collapsing, want the rest your bed promised and could not deliver. There is hunger, faint, like something remembered from yesterday, a small hollow beneath your ribs, not urgent, just present, your body quietly cataloguing what it needs: food, stillness, the horizontal. You will walk until you cannot, or until you find yourself at your own door, whichever comes first. The streets narrow and widen, turn and straighten. You follow them without choosing, your route drawn by the simple fact of putting one foot ahead of the other. The cobblestones gleam dully, still damp in places where the rain pooled and has not yet evaporated. Your boots are wet through, have been for hours. You stop noticing. The cold cloth against your ankles, the slight squelch with each step, small discomforts absorbed into the larger fact of walking. Dawn is still hidden but approaching. You can feel it in the air, the way the darkness has begun to thin at its edges, not lighter yet but less absolute, less total. You are tired, properly tired, the kind that will let you sleep when you finally stop. The walk has done what it needed to do, emptied you, worn you down to something simple. Your legs ache, your back aches, your breath works harder than it wants to, and somewhere ahead, not far now, your door waits. You will reach it, eventually, when the question mark closes, when the long loop folds back into itself, when walking becomes stopping. Not yet, but soon. You see it, your own door, the dark wood familiar even in the half-light, the brass handle catching the glow from the nearest lamp. You stop, your legs grateful to be still, grateful to stop contracting and releasing, to simply hold you upright without forward motion. The street is silent behind you. The city you have walked through for hours, settling into the last moments before dawn, breaks it open again. Your hand finds the handle, the same metal you touched when you left. Cold then from the night air and your leaving, but now it warms under your palm, takes the heat from your skin, the accumulated warmth of 20 miles of walking. Your fingers curl around it. Feel the worn brass smooth beneath your thumb, the small imperfections where other hands have touched it, years of touching, entrances and exits. Your breath slows, deeper now that you have stopped, your lungs expanding fully, filling with the cool air, holding it, releasing. You can feel your heartbeat in your chest, steady, insistent, the faithful drum that has kept time with every step. You turn the handle, feel the latch give way, the small click of metal finding its release. The door swings inward, moves on its hinges without resistance, opens into darkness, into the house you left sleeping, still sleeping, waiting. Your threshold, the edge between the city and the interior, between motion and rest. You step across it, one foot and then the other, your boots heavy on the floorboards, damp leather on dry wood. The air inside is different, warmer still, carrying the scent of the house, old wood and fabric and the faint ghost of the evening's fire. You close the door behind you. Pull it gently until it meets the frame, until the latch catches and holds. The city is sealed outside, the miles behind you, the streets and bridges and silent squares. All of it on the other side of the wood now. You stand in the darkness of your own hallway, your coat still on, your hat still in your hand. Your body knows it is finished. The walking is done. The restlessness that drove you out has been walked away, worn down to nothing by hours of motion, by the simple repetition of step after step. Your legs are ready to give up their work, to fold, to let you lie horizontal. Sleep is waiting, patient, no longer hidden. You can feel it now, a room you can finally enter. A door you can finally open. You move toward the stairs, your hand finding the banister, your feet knowing the way even in the dark. Each step upward is a step closer to stillness, to the bed you could not stay in, to the rest you have finally earned. Your body settles as you climb, the ache in your muscles becoming something almost pleasant. The proof of distance covered, of a night spent moving until there was nothing left to do but stop. The walk is over. London sleeps behind you, and you, at last, can sleep too.